Hello students, this is 8th grade math, unit 3, lesson 9, practice problems. Do you have your paper and pencil ready? You need to take notes carefully when you do your work. If you're entering your answers in online, you still need to give full explanations. Remember, your work must be neat and complete. Okay, problem number 1. Suppose that during its flight, the elevation in feet of a certain airplane and its time t in minutes since takeoff are related by a linear equation. Consider the graph of this equation, with time represented on the horizontal axis and elevation on the vertical axis. Okay, hold on. I'm just going to stop there for 1 second. Linear relationship and linear equations. You've already seen these so many times now. But I'm going to make sure I stop and write that down. Linear equations have the form of y equals m, which is some slope or rate constant, times x. Maybe they also have plus b, which is some starting value, or y-intercept. So you've already seen this so many times, and you're sick of me telling you again. M is the slope, b is the y-intercept, and in previous videos you saw how all of those came to be. Okay, thanks for listening. I'll keep going. It says sketch a graph for each situation A, B, C and decide if the slope is positive, 0, or negative. Okay, you really need to do it. You actually have to sketch these graphs. So I want to see this on your paper, in your notes or whatever. So for situation A, just a second, let me just go back and figure this out a second. The elevation E in feet of a certain airplane and its time in minutes since takeoff. Okay, got it. It says time is represented on the horizontal axis. That's what I'm looking for. So the x-axis is the horizontal, and in this situation, that's time. And the y-axis is the vertical axis. And it says elevation is on the vertical axis, so that's E. And in situation A, the plane is cruising at an altitude of 37,000 feet above sea level. What do you think that graph will look like? It's cruising. It doesn't say it's taking off or landing, just cruising. So I think that means a constant altitude of 37,000 feet. That's what I think. So I think over time, as it's cruising, the elevation is going to stay constant at 37,000 feet. So the slope in this situation, is that positive or negative? Well, there's no change. So the slope is 0. There's no change. Let's look at the next situation. B. The plane is descending at a rate of 1,000 feet per minute. Okay, it's descending, so as time goes, its elevation is decreasing. And they told us the rate is 1,000 feet per minute. So it started at some elevation. I'm going to call it the starting elevation, capital E. There we go. And then 1,000 feet per minute of decrease until the plane lands. Does this have a positive or negative or slope of 0? Negative, you're right. There's a negative slope because the elevation is decreasing every minute. My pen didn't work very well right there. Do you want me to type in an answer for you? The slope is negative because the elevation decreases at a rate of 1,000 feet per minute. There we go. The elevation over time is going down. Okay, now situation C says, and I'm going to erase this and scoot my page up. Situation C, the plane is ascending at a rate of 2,000 feet per minute. Okay, well that's going to look like a takeoff. Ascending is the opposite of descending. So it's going up over time, and they told us the rate is 2,000 feet per minute. So maybe it starts, they didn't say it's taking off, but I'm going to assume that's just taking off. So when time equals 0, they have an elevation of 0, I think. They didn't say that. It could be that they were already flying high and then they started ascending further. That could be. Regardless of the situation, you can see the slope is going to be positive. Can you tell me why that slope is positive? Go ahead and write in your answer. As time goes, I'm going to say as time increases. There we go. As time increases, the elevation increases too. Okay. All right, good job, guys. Why don't you pause the video and take notes? You need to have complete work. Make sure your work is neat and complete is my new motto. Number 3, a group of hikers park their car at a trailhead and hike into the forest to a campsite. The next morning, they head out on a hike from their campsite, walking at a steady rate. The graph shows their distance in miles D from the car on the day of their hike after H hours. Okay, did you get that? They parked at the parking lot. Then they walked to the campsite and they slept. Then they started to hike the next morning. So that's what is shown on this vertical axis. It says the graph shows their distance in miles from the car. The D, distance in miles from the car on the day of the hike after H hours. So the hiking starts at 0 hours. But their distance starts at 5 miles when they start their hike. Okay, got it. How far is the campsite from their car? Explain how you know. How do you know? Well, when the time equaled 0 on this graph, that's when they started to hike. And so at that time, I can see that they were already, looks like 4 miles from the car. You know what? I don't know why I wrote this 5 here. I've made a mistake. I read it just quickly. It's not 5, it's 4. So they started their hike at time equals 0, which was the next morning, and they were already 4 miles from the car. So explain how you know. The next morning, when they started to hike, the time was t equals 0. At t equals 0, they were already 4 miles from the car. You can see this point on the y-intercept of the graph. Okay? If you want to, you can go ahead and circle the y-intercept to show me that you really see what we're talking about right there at that point right there. Okay, let's read B. B says, write an equation that describes the relationship between D and H. Okay, so how far are they from the car? Well, we need to know their walking speed to get the rate in this problem. So just choose any 2 points that are easy to read. I think these 2 points are easy, and I'm going to tell you the coordinates by just looking at the graph. The first point, x equals 0 and y equals 4. And the second point that I have chosen, which might not be the same as the point you have chosen, circle those points on your graph, x equals 2 hours, and the distance is 10 miles from the car. Now, let's calculate the slope from these 2 points, the rise over run. The y value goes from 4 to 10, so that's an increase of 6 miles. And the value of x goes from 0 to 2. Here's a slope triangle if it helps you. So from 0 to 2, that's a run of 2 units. If you simplify, you find their hiking speed is 3 miles per hour, because that was a change of 6 miles in 2 hours. Make sure you're looking at the units on your graph to get the answers right. Now I can write an equation. The distance from the car equals, I'm going to start with the 4 miles away. They're already 4 miles away when they wake up. And then they hike at a speed of 3 miles per hour. And you should multiply that by h, which is the hours after they've started to hike. So let me say this again. The distance away from the car is 3 miles per hour times however many hours they've been hiking, plus the 4 miles that they were already, the distance they already were away from the car. Okay, got it? The last question, C, says, after how many hours will the hikers be 16 miles from their car? Explain or show your reasoning. Let me move up my screen so I have a little bit of room to work. Okay, well, guess what? The graph goes up to 16. So here they are 16 miles, and you can see that on the graph after 4 hours of hiking. If you didn't have that, like, what if your graph stopped right here? How could you calculate that answer? Well, you'd remember that they hike for 3 miles per hour, and they start at 4 miles from the car. So to go up to 16 miles away from the car, that is an increase of 12 miles. And they're hiking at 3 miles per hour. Oops. So 12 additional miles that they need to hike divided by 3 miles per hour, that equals 4 more hours of hiking. 4 hours of hiking. So I can calculate it by knowing how much more they need to hike. But we can also just look on the graph in this case. Okay, I'm going to let you type that in yourself. Go ahead and write your answers. Your answers must be neat and complete. Pause the video while you take notes, but I'll keep going. Next problem. Elena's aunt pays her $1 for each call she makes to let people know about her aunt's new business. The table shows how much money Diego receives for washing dishes for his neighbors. Ooh, I wish Diego was my neighbor. I'll pay him money if he'll come wash mine. Okay, so now we have... You know what? I was just thinking of dishes, but it says windows. How funny, I was thinking about dirty dishes. Let me read this again. The table shows how much money Diego receives for washing windows for his neighbors. Number of windows is on the left of the table, and number of dollars he gets. Oh, well, do you remember what I said about solving rate problems? The first thing I want to do is find a rate. If he washes 27 windows, he gets $30. I can't help it. I have to find a rate. So $30 for 27 windows. Let's simplify this. If we divide by 3, we can simplify this by dividing the top by 3 and dividing the bottom by 3. So this reduces to 9. For every 9 windows that he washes, he gets $10. Do you see that? For every 9 windows that he washes, he gets $10. Okay, I got it. Let's read the questions. A, Elena makes, wait a minute. The directions first, sorry. Select all the statements about the situation that are true. Okay, we're looking for true statements. So, is this true or is this false? That's what we really need to answer. Elena makes more money for making 10 calls than Diego makes for washing 10 windows. Well, you know, I've already calculated that, but what if I hadn't? If he makes $90 for washing 81 windows, then that would be 9 windows gets him $10. So what do you think? Elena makes more money for making 10 calls than Diego gets for washing 10 windows? Well, 10 windows would get him like $1.10, right? Let me do this ratio again, upside down. How much money does he get per window? So I have 9 windows per $10. So he gets $10 for washing 9 windows. There we go. So 10 divided by 9 tells you how much money he gets per window. Well, I'm no genius and I'm not too proud. Let's get out the calculator. What is 10 divided by 9? Is it like 0.9 or something? Do you guys remember this math very well? These days, even simple math stresses me out. There we go, 0.9. 10 divided by 9 is 0.9. So he's getting 90 cents per window. $0.9 is 90 cents. He's getting 90 cents per one window. Okay, you can answer this one if it's true or false. Elena gets, after making 10 calls, you know that she's going to get $10, but he's only getting 90 cents for washing 10 windows. I feel extra sleepy tonight. Just going to double check that. Did I make a mistake? $10 divided by 9 windows. Yeah, I knew that was wrong. I'm a little sleepy tonight, but I thought, you know what? That doesn't make sense. I made a mistake when I hit that in the calculator, didn't I? Now I've got it correct. Look, $10 divided by 9. Yeah, he makes $1.11 per window. I'm sorry. I might be a great math teacher, but I am not actually great at math. It's a joke. When I'm sleepy, I make a lot of mistakes. So scratch what I said. Yeah, I got that wrong. I didn't even do it right. And I knew it didn't make sense because 10 over 9, that's greater than 1. That's like, what? So anyways, $1.11 per window. He gets $1.11 per window. I hope you're following along and you know what I'm calculating. That was the rate that Diego gets per window. So if Elena has 10 calls, she gets $10. And if Diego washes 10 windows, then 10 times $1.11 means he earns $11.10. So is the statement true or false? I'm going to let you figure that out. I've done enough damage. I'll keep going. B, Diego makes more money for washing each window than Elena makes for making each call. Okay, well, I did calculate that Diego gets $1.11 per window that he washes. So, Diego makes more money for washing each window than Elena makes for making each call. Is that true? Is that false? I'll let you answer that. I'm going to clear my screen and keep going. C. Elena makes the same amount. Actually, hold on. I want to try to move this up. There we go. C. Elena makes the same amount of money for 20 calls as Diego makes for 18 windows. Oh, more math. Well, for Elena, if she makes 20 calls, you know that's $20. She gets $1 per call. And if Diego washes 18 windows, then how much does he get? Let's go to the graph here. Number of windows, 27. They gave us 27, but not 18. If he washes 27 windows, he gets $30. Well, that's $10 per 9 windows, and this is 18 windows. So 9 times 2 is 18. If he gets $10 for 9 windows, then he gets $20 for 18 windows. Ding, 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 ding. I think I got one right. Okay, I want you to do the same math that I did. Okay? And I want you to show your math for C. 27 windows gets him $30, which is 9 windows gets him $10. That's proportional. Now 9 times 2 equals 18. 9 times 2 equals $18. I'm sorry, 18 windows, and 10 times 2 equals $20. So he gets $18 for 20 windows, and that's how I answered this one. Let's go on to D. And by the way, if you're good at this, you don't have to listen to me. You can stop the video and just do your work. But I still want to see neat and complete answers, so if you cannot get it right, then follow along with me. Okay, next one. Diego needs to wash 35 windows to make as much money as Elena makes for 40 calls. Let's see. He needs to wash 35 windows. Well, I've already calculated that Diego gets $1.11 per window. Per one window. And if Elena makes 40 calls, she gets $40. So the real question here is, will he get $40 after washing 35 windows? So let's multiply the rate that he gets per window by 30 windows, and let's see what that equals. So that's going to be 30.33. Diego needs to wash 35. Oh, I multiplied it by the wrong number. Look at that. I multiplied it by 30, but I needed 35. I think I'm doing more harm than good. I shouldn't be making videos when I'm sleepy. Let's go to the calculator. Okay, Diego gets $1.11, and we're going to multiply that by 35 windows. Bang. There we go. He gets $38.85. So if she washes 40 windows, she gets $40. But if he washes 35 windows, he only gets $38.83. So is this true or false? You can answer that. Let's go on to E. The equation y equals 9/10 x, where y is the number of dollars and x is the number of windows, represents Diego's situation. Well, yeah, I calculated that right from the beginning. I used a rate. Like this one. When he washes 81 windows, he gets $90, which reduces to 9 over 10. Yes, I did that right in the beginning. I found a rate. And that means that y is, hold on, I need to put units on this. It was 81 windows to get $10, so 9 windows. I actually have to write the rates, otherwise I get confused. For $10. So y is the number of dollars. Let's see, dollars equals, yeah, number of windows x. Well, then this is upside down. Yeah, so this rate is correct, but it's not going to be x is the number of windows. It's going to be, this is the correct rate, but it's upside down. How can I explain that? Let me show you. If we use 9 over 10, if we say y is the money he gets times 9/10 x, it's not going to work out right. Let's say he washes 27 windows. Then 9 times 27, and this is 9 over 10, there we go. Is that going to equal 30? It's not. 9 times 27 divided by 10. Let's go back to that calculator. 9 times 27 equals 243 divided by 10. See, that only equals 24.3. So this rate here is upside down. What I mean by that is this is 9 windows gives you $10. But what we really need to use is $10 for 9 windows. That will make this true. If x is the number of windows, then we need to multiply that by $10 per 9 windows to equal y, the amount of money we get. So this is the true equation, not 9/10, but $10 for 9 windows. I want you to try both of those on paper so that it makes sense to you. And when you're writing, put in the units. Make sure you put 9 windows, $10. You have to use the units to figure out if this one is true or false. Okay? I'm going to clear my screen so you can pause it now and take notes and try that before you go on to the next one. F. The equation y equals x, where y is the number of dollars and x is the number of calls, represents Elena's situation. Oh, this one's easy and it makes sense. Y is the number of dollars equals x calls. Put on the units. Doesn't that help you understand it right away? That's right, because it's $1 per call. If I had a rate here, it would be $1 per 1 call. The slope of the line is 1. But 1 divided by 1 is 1, and 1 times x is just x. So you can just write that as y equals x. But it means she gets y dollars for every x call. Okay, good job, guys. Pause the video now while you take notes on that. I'll keep going. Number 6. Each square on a grid represents 1 unit on each side. Match the numbers with the slope of the line. Okay, so we have these slopes, and this is too easy. We just need to find the slope of the line and match it. Okay, you remember what to do, don't you? Just pick 2 points that are easy to read. This point's easy to read. This point's easy to read. I think it's easy to read because it's right on the crosshairs of the graph. That's why I use it. Okay, I need to find the change in x and the change in y, but I can't see the start. Oh no, I don't know what numbers these are. Oh no, that's okay. You don't even need to see the numbers. You only need to count the change. So I'm going to draw like this, and you can do this on your graph too. Now, this here is the change in y. That's the rise. And this here, that is the change in x. That's the run. So the slope of this line is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 units up and 1 unit over. It's 4 over 1. Ding, there it is. So this slope is graph A. I want you to pause my video and you try the other ones, okay? And then you can unpause it and check the results. Actually, maybe it's even easier than that. Look, this is a negative slope and this is a positive slope. So which one is it? Yeah, that was too easy, wasn't it? Let's keep going. Cool down time. Each square on a grid represents 1 unit on each side. Okay, same as before. Number 1, calculate the slope of graph D. Explain or show your reasoning. Okay, here's D. So same thing, just look for the change in x. I'm going from here to here. That's what I'm looking at, and that is a change of 3 units. So delta x equals 3. That's a delta x right there. And then the change in y, oh, I shouldn't have done it. Now I have to count too much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Change in y is 12 units. So the slope of the line is 12 over 3. They said, calculate the slope of graph D and explain or show your reasoning. Well, okay. I counted the change in y from top to bottom, which is 12 units down. Oh, I forgot to put the negative sign. Look at there. This should be minus 12. Minus 12 because it's 12 units down. That's a negative slope. I almost missed that. Anyway, let me keep going. Which is 12 units down. There we go. The change in x was 3 units over. Was 3 units. So the slope is negative 12 divided by 3, which equals negative 4. Okay, there's my answer, negative 4. Number 2, calculate the slope of graph E. What situation could the graph represent? Oh, well, we don't even have to calculate. Look at that. The change in y from any 2 points on the line equals 0. So the slope is 0. We don't even have to do a calculation. Let me write that answer. The change in y between any 2 points on the line is 0, so the slope is 0. What situation could this represent? I'm going to let you think of something. Yeah, I want you to tell me a situation where there's no change. Like if you have $45 in your piggy bank and you don't touch it all year long, you don't add to it and you don't take anything from it, then you could say this situation represents like dollars on the vertical axis over time on the x-axis. That's a t, time. So as time goes, the amount of money in your piggy bank stays the same. There it is. Anyway, number 3, on the blank grid, that's F, it's blank, draw a line that passes through the indicated point and has a slope of negative 2. Oh, this is too easy. I love these easy ones. Okay, the slope is negative 2, so you go down 2 over 1. Because, you know, negative 2, if you write that out as a fraction, that's negative 2 over 1. So the change in y is negative 2. The change in x is 1. So that's why I said you go down 2 and over 1. Put a point. Down 2 over 1. down 2 over 1, like that. And then draw your line. There we go. That was too easy. I love the easy ones. Pause the video and finish your page. Oh, that's the end of the assignment. See you later. Make sure that your work is neat and complete. Bye-bye.